Brandon O'Doy, and I'm the father of two sons, a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I talked to my 6-year-old, and I wanted to try to begin to open up the dialogue and explain to him exactly what's going on even right now in these United States. And he participated in a Black History program, and so I thought that might be a way to get in to helping him to understand what exactly is currently going on, because during that program, he didn't want to participate in the middle passage portion, which of course was the beginning of the program. And I said, son, do you remember the part that you didn't want to play in Black History? He said, yeah, Dad, I remember. I said, why didn't you want to participate in that? He said, because, it was just too scary. I didn't really want to be beaten and something terrible happened. I said, son, something terrible has happened in Minnesota, and it happened to a young man. And I explained to him it was because he was taken advantage of by someone in a position of power. And this was a conversation that just led to a lot of questions that I just could not answer, and find reasonable ways not to go too far with a 6-year-old and especially a 2-year-old who probably didn't understand much of what I was saying. But I became very angry and started thinking, why am I even having to do this? And that's just the frustration of the times that we live in right now. And I just am kind of numb to the fact that these are the times that we are trying to prepare our sons for, and we really just don't know the way.
And welcome back to our special Growing Up Black Families, Confronting Racism. That was Brandon O'Doy there, another father struggling to understand the senseless deaths of another unarmed Black man in this country. We are back now with our panel, if you will. Ebony and Ron are back with me. Kimry also back. Kimry and Jessica. Ron, let me start with you. How, in this moment, do you prepare your twin boys there in Chicago? What advice do you have for fathers who might be watching, or sons who might be watching or listening tonight?
Sure. I think it's important to know what we're preparing them for. It's more than just interactions with police officers. It's for interactions with anybody and any organization in a position of authority, and that might be a school, a teacher, a religious institution, it might be whomever it is. And so we try to start with one, informing them, right? Even at 5 years old, it's important to talk about these issues, but to break them down and to be age appropriate, to put it into digestible pieces. I think it's also important, as we think about it, not to use these all universal qualifiers. You can't say all police officers. You can't say all white. Very, very effective. Right? And that's part of the information piece. And then it's preparing them. It's preparing them for these interactions that really impact their emotional health. We had one of our young boys on his 5th birthday party come home and start crying. And he was crying because he was saying that all the kids with the flat hair were playing with each other and they weren't playing with him. And I said, flat hair? What's flat hair? He goes, well, my brother and I, we have curly hair.
Crinkly hair.
Crinkly hair. And then I knew, they're talking about the white kids and the Black kids. And then he said that thing that every parent or Black parent hates to hear. I wish I had flat hair. And your stomach sinks. And so it's important that you explain to people and these young children at this very early age that it's not necessarily a function of what you look like, what you do, or some people may treat you differently because of that, but we can't group all people similarly. There are some great people out there. There are kids, because we have to continue to provide that hopefulness in our children. That is critical. And if they don't feel emotionally safe, if they don't feel physically safe, then they won't feel hopeful. And once you lose that hopefulness, you can spiral in many different directions.
That's fantastic advice. Kimry, there are conversations that, as we know, Black parents have to have with their kids that other families just don't have to have. What intellectual armor are you suiting your kids up with?
A big thing, so our son is 9 now. Our daughter is 7, going on 8. And I've already had a conversation with my son and my daughter about, even as far, I tell them, like, you sadly, you have to work harder. You have to be different. You have to, you not get away with it as much, because you will eventually there's probably going to be someone who's going to look at you because of the color of your skin and treat you differently. You're not going to be able to get by with some of the just regular things kids do as far as behavior goes and that stuff. And I think it's crazy to say that we have to have those conversations, but the biggest thing is just like Ron said, like just making sure that when things happen, we explain to them, tell them that not all police are bad or not all white people are bad, because that mindset is the same thing that we're trying to battle, right? Against us. Because you have people out there who think that we're all bad because of the color of our skin. So we don't want that to be with our children. And we want them to be able to pick friends and be around people who feel the same way they do. So a lot of it is just breaking that down and sadly having that conversation like, hey, because you are Black, because you have, brown skin, you're going to be looked at differently sometimes. And it's not fair right now, and hopefully it changes by the time he gets to a teenage age. But right now, those are the facts. So just constantly, just having those talks with him whenever I can, whenever I feel it's appropriate. Our oldest, he feels a lot. He's pretty in tune with that kind of stuff. So we try to give him a little bit of information, not too much, because he will take it and he will kind of, he'll take it, he'll kind of run with it. It is heavy on him. He can kind of feel the room as far as emotions and that stuff go. So that's the biggest thing there. Just continue to tell him, just like, hey, just be the best you can be. And then we pray about a lot of things too. So that's just something that we focus on as well, prayer as well. So I'm just trying to make sure that he stays in the right circles when he gets older.
Ebony, this is a conversation that we want people to continue having in their homes. That's one reason that we're having this conversation right now. Knowing that this conversation is going to continue, where do you think it should go? What do you think it should include?
For us as Black parents, I think it's important to be mindful that our children are going to be faced with a number of issues, and they may not even know how to speak about them or exactly what's happening. So making sure that they feel safe and there's a place to go and to speak. One of our kids, right after watching the riots outside of the window, said, "I just need a hug." And we knew what it was, and we talked about things later. But we talk about even more so, being part of these kids' lives, being, with their peers, be they Black, be they white especially, getting to know those families, talking to them about what we're up against, and whatever they're saying, their children are seeing and saying and doing, and how they can help support my kids. There's an article I keep looking at, and I keep posting it, and it says, when will you stop thinking my kid is cute, and when will he become a threat? And we want to help the parents that are in our kids' lives and the children in their lives not be afraid to see color, not be afraid to ask respectful questions, but just we want them to have good friends and have support.
I have so enjoyed this. I've actually learned a fair amount in just the last few minutes from the four of you. Thank you so much. I wish we had more time. Ebony Gates, Ron Mitchell, and Kimry, and Jessica Gaudier. Thank you. A big thanks to all of you for your time tonight. Coming up, my colleague Tremaine Lee and I will talk about how we have been covering this moment in history as journalists, but also as fathers.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.